Missing posters continue to pepper Salt Lake City streets, hoping to find an answer to the question, what happened to Mackenzie Lueck?
Police say there's been no activity on her phone and her bank accounts.
It's going on real fast, so if you want to come, I'll give you right back to the house real quick.
But there's floods news over there.
I know, I'm going to drive you back in my car. It's Camry, so...
Mackenzie Speth Lueck was born on March 8, 1996, in El Segundo, California. The only daughter in a family of 4 children, she grew up in a close household. Her father, Greg, was present and attentive. At El Segundo High School, she competed on the swim team and played water polo. She was disciplined. She did not quit things. She enrolled at the University of Utah on a kinesiology and pre-nursing track, working part-time at a biological testing company and serving as a member of Alpha Chi Omega. She had spoken with advisors about nursing or medical school. She was set to graduate in May 2020. Her sorority sister, Ashley Fine, described her as extremely dedicated. She said Mackenzie would never miss a midterm. On the evening of June 16, 2019, Luke boarded a flight from California back to Utah after attending her grandmother's funeral. Her flight landed at Salt Lake City International Airport at approximately 1:35 a.m. on June 17th. Surveillance cameras recorded her in the baggage claim area, rolling her luggage past a carousel, wearing a compact black backpack, moving without hesitation toward the exit. At 2:01 a.m., she texted her mother. She had landed. She loved her. It was the last message her family received from her. At 2:42 a.m., she arranged a Lyft, not to her apartment but to Hatch Park in North Salt Lake City. The driver, Heath Canada, picked her up. During the ride, she said she was meeting a friend. She did not appear distressed. At 2:58 a.m., Canada pulled into the park. He observed Lueck walk toward a dark-colored car that was already waiting. She got in. He drove away. At 2:58 a.m., Lueck sent her final text through a third-party application called Text Me to a number her family did not know about. At 2:59 a.m., her phone was powered off. It was never switched back on. 3 days passed. On June 18th, her father tried to message her. It delivered as a standard text rather than an iMessage, indicating the receiving phone was inactive. She missed a midterm, a work shift, social media, and a flight to Los Angeles booked for June 23rd. On June 20th, Greg Lueck called the Salt Lake City Police Department and asked them to check on his daughter.
Yeah, I'd like to get, if possible, have a wellness check done on my daughter. And I've been trying to get a hold of her, and her phone just tends to go to voicemail. I was just wondering if I could have somebody maybe go by her house and check on her.
Officers went to her townhome. Her car was in the driveway. She did not answer the door. The case moved immediately to the Homicide Division. Detectives worked backward from the airport footage and forward from the question of where she had gone after Hatch Park. Airport cameras confirmed her inside the terminal. Lyft records confirmed the ride. Heath Canada was interviewed 6 days after her disappearance. He confirmed the drop-off was cleared by surveillance footage and eliminated. CCTV captured that Lueck had been met at Hatch Park by an individual in a vehicle. The make and model of that vehicle had not yet been determined. The identity of the driver was not yet known.
Missing posters continue to pepper Salt Lake City streets, hoping to find an answer to the question, what happened to Mackenzie Lueck?
We encourage the public to help us answer these lingering questions, such as who is the person she met in Hatch Park? Does Mackenzie have an alternate phone that she has used in the past or is using? Does she have social media accounts that we don't know about? Is anyone in contact with Mackenzie online currently or within the last week?
Now the SLCPD says that they don't even know the make or the model of that car, or even whether it was a man or a woman behind the wheel that morning. They say they have a tip line established. If anyone knows anything, they should call 801-799-4420. And so far, about 125 tips have come in on that line. They have also asked the FBI for their assistance in this investigation.
On June 22nd, investigators accessed Lueck's digital records more broadly. They learned she had been active on multiple online platforms, including Seeking Arrangement. They also found the Text Me application and the number she had been communicating with in the final hours before her phone went dark. They subpoenaed the IP address tied to that number. It came back to a Wi-Fi router at a residential address in Salt Lake City's Fair Park neighborhood, 547 North 1000 West. The registered occupant was 31 years old, an IT worker listed on LinkedIn as a technical support analyst for Dell. He had briefly served in the Army National Guard. He had attended Utah State University on a student visa but did not graduate. He had been barred from campus in 2012 and returned in 2015. In 2016, he had lived within 1 block of Hatch Park, evicted that year for non-payment of rent. He had attended university in Logan, the city nearest Logan Canyon. He had a profile on seeking arrangement. Records showed he and Lueck had first connected there in 2018. His name was Ayoola Ajayi. On June 24th, detectives contacted Ajayi at the Fair Park address. Body camera footage shows him answering the door, calm, smiling, cooperative.
Is there anyone else in there? Let's make sure. Gloves.
When shown a photograph of Lueck, he said he had never seen her. They had never met in person.
Hi, it's the police department. Are you renting this room? Yes. Okay. We are going to be serving a warrant on this house. Is there anyone else in this room?
No, nobody's here. Just you? Am I going to be able to come back in here?
It may be a while. Yeah, if you want to move to the shade, that's fine, but don't move the door.
Oh, okay.
I don't want anything moved.
But I'll be there, and I don't have a phone, but if you guys walk in, I will sit where you can see.
All right, AJ. So is that where you'll probably be?
Yeah, unless you want me to stay, I'm happy to stay.
No, you're welcome to leave if you want to. If we wanted to come talk to you, is that where you think you'll be?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Good luck, man.
They found the remnants of a fire and a huge, freshly dug hole.
And then here's some more. Well, that's
Highway 234, 1102.
But does that look like a bone or?
So, detectives are ready to talk to you about everything that's going on real fast. So, if you want to come, I'll give you right back to the house real quick.
Later that day, he returned to the police station voluntarily. He acknowledged a seeking arrangement profile and suggested Lueck may have contacted him through it. He could not explain the IP connection, but suggested it may have come from an Airbnb tenant. He provided his real cell phone number. That number was the next thread. Cell tower records placed his device at Hatch Park at 2:59 a.m. on June 17th, the same minute Lueck's phone went dark. His device was back at the Fair Park address at 3:07 a.m. Surveillance footage showed his vehicle leaving the area moments after Canada's Lyft had departed. Investigators applied for a search warrant. Before executing it, they reviewed one additional detail. Ajayi's home security system had been switched off, deliberately, before he left to meet Lueck at the park. He had turned off the cameras before going to collect her.
There's a lot of mysteries here. 23-year-old Mackenzie Lueck had just returned to Utah after coming to Southern California for her grandmother's funeral. Her parents said they last heard from her when she texted them after her flight landed safely last Monday. After that, she ordered a Lyft to an address in North Salt Lake, but friends say Lueck didn't live there and they don't know why she went there. Lueck has been absent on social media, and her friends and sorority sisters have been passing out flyers, hoping someone will come forward with information. Lyft told CBS News they're actively assisting law enforcement with their investigation and that there were no irregularities with the ride. She was dropped off and the driver continued taking other customers immediately. The family is from Southern California and they're now working to get subpoenas for her phone records to hopefully try to piece some of this together.
In April 2019, a Weber County contractor named Brian Wolf received a referral to a homeowner at 547 North 1000 West who had reported flooding in the basement. Wolf inspected the damage. It was not significant. He said so, AJ, as the homeowner introduced himself, then made a different request. A hidden room in the basement, walk-in closet sized, soundproofed, accessible only by thumbprint scanner. Along the interior concrete walls, large hooks anchored into the concrete. The explanation offered was that a Mormon girlfriend was visiting and did not know he drank. He needed the alcohol stored out of sight and earshot. Wolf noted that concrete hooks have no function in a liquor cabinet. He offered a simpler alternative. Ajayi declined it. Money was not a concern. It needed to be finished before she arrived. Wolf left without taking the job. He told people around him at the time that something about that house and the man inside it had felt wrong. On June 28, 2019, he saw the address on the news. He saw the photograph. He called the police the same day. Text messages later confirmed contact between Wolf's number and Ajayi's, in which Ajayi had requested a quote for the work. The room was never built. Tanisha Jenkins. Ajayi had been married to Ayoola Ajayi since 2011. By the time of his arrest, they had not lived together for years. When Ajayi decided to return to Utah, he expected her to follow. She refused. He threatened to kill her. On one occasion, he chased her into the street with a kitchen knife and cut her arm. She did not report it. She changed apartments without telling him and cut off all contact.
She stopped responding once I sent out my pictures. I thought maybe she just doesn't want my type of race, so I just stopped responding to her.
So think about that for a second, put yourself in their shoes, and then start being honest with me.
We have had a week and a half now to prepare, and we have been very busy because I care about Mackenzie, and I want her. I think you did care about her. I agree. And I know that there's more for you to tell me, and you're holding back, and I don't understand why. AJ, I just told you that your phone records and the location put you up at the meet. Do you think, honestly, and expect me to believe that you ended that conversation and somehow you and her location end up in the exact same spot?
Oh, I'm not doubting you. If I see that too, if I'm in your case, I would be asking myself, what are you asking me right now?
It's not a miraculous question.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay.
Stuff doesn't just happen.
No.
Yes, I agree with you.
I'm telling you to explain that. And so far, you have not.
Well, how do I explain something I don't know?
Are you saying you don't know or you don't remember?
When his arrest was announced, she told reporters that if he had done what police were saying, he needed to be behind bars. She did not sound surprised. On June 26th, investigators executed the search warrant at the Fair Park address. The first thing they noted inside was the smell. The house carried a strong odor of bleach. In the bathroom, the sink was examined under blacklight. Splatters appeared that were not visible to the naked eye. Clothing inside the property showed bleach staining and dirt staining. Everything was photographed and bagged. The mattress and box spring from the main bedroom were gone, given away by Ajayi in the days following June 17th. Police Chief Mike Brown made a public appeal for whoever had taken them to come forward. The property contained multiple surveillance cameras concentrated in the bedroom. A house cleaner named Tara Chatterton, who had cleaned a separate Ajayi property in Ogden, had noted the same thing. She said she had never seen cameras positioned that way in any home she had worked in. She had felt uncomfortable. She had not returned. Ajayi's vehicle carried a strong smell of gasoline from the trunk. Inside was a red gas can, the same type captured on surveillance footage from a nearby Smith's grocery, where Ajayi had purchased one at 9 a.m. on June 17th, 6 hours after Lueck's phone went dark. The back seat showed staining. The floor by the driver's seat was covered in dirt. Inside the car, investigators also found multiple weapons: knives, a hammer, and a firearm. In the rear yard behind the garage, detectives found a section of recently disturbed soil. Charring was visible on the surface. A neighbor had already reported a fire there on June 17th and again on June 18th. She described the smell as unlike anything she had encountered before and had observed Ajayi pouring gasoline onto the flames. A certified cadaver dog was brought onto the property. It moved directly to the disturbed ground and indicated immediately. Excavation began. From the freshly dug area behind the garage, investigators recovered a human bone, a rib bone, a skull fragment, charred muscular tissue consistent with Lueck's DNA profile, part of a scalp with hair attached, and a burnt iPhone. Among the personal items recovered, a coach purse reduced to ash and hardware but identifiable by shape. A wallet burned, with an identification card still partially visible inside. It belonged to Mackenzie Lueck. In the adjacent alley, investigators found charred black fabric and buckles consistent with a backpack. Airport footage had shown Lueck carrying a compact black backpack when she left the terminal. On July 15th, officers near the Jordan River Parkway Trail, 1 mile from the Fair Park address, came across additional material. Along the bank, distributed across a stretch of ground and partially in the water, were multiple items of women's clothing. Each had been cut, not torn, with a sharp instrument. The cuts were deliberate. Among them, investigators found Mackenzie Lueck's University of Utah student identification card.
In Utah, a tragic conclusion in the search for a missing college student. Police found the charred remains of 23-year-old Mackenzie Lueck in the yard of the man accused of killing her.
Several charred items that were consistent with personal items of Mackenzie Lueck. Other charred material was located, which has now been forensically determined to be female human tissue. We are filing charges of aggravated murder, aggravated kidnapping, and desecration of a body in the homicide of Mackenzie Lueck. This is one of the most difficult phone calls I've ever made, as both Greg and his wife Diana were devastated and heartbroken by this news.
The sequence of events on June 17th was later reconstructed from cell data, forensic evidence, and the account provided by Ajayi's own defense attorney at the plea hearing. Before leaving to meet Lueck, Ajayi switched off the home security system. He drove to the park. She got into his car. He drove her to the Fair Park address. There, he bound her hands behind her back, began strangling her, and continued until she stopped moving. The decision to kill her had been made before he left the house. Afterward, he burned her body and belongings in the yard, the backpack, the purse, the wallet, the identification. He buried the remains behind the garage. He cut her clothing apart and threw it into the Jordan River. He gave away the mattress. He purchased a new gas can at 9 a.m. The day after investigators first knocked on his door, he drove 80 miles north to Logan Canyon, dug up what he had buried in the yard, and reburied it in a wooded area off the main road. He carried his phone the entire way. Cell records placed Ajayi near Logan Canyon on June 25th, between 2:30 and 4:30 p.m. The day after police first questioned him. On July 3rd, investigators traveled to the canyon. After a search of forested ground off the main road, they found recently disturbed soil beneath a grove of trees. They excavated the site. Beneath the soil was a charred human body, arms bound behind the back with zip ties and rope, a 5-centimeter hole on the left side of the skull, part of the left scalp missing. DNA confirmed the identity. It was Mackenzie Lueck. The autopsy, performed by Dr. Zachary Michalicek of the Utah Office of Medical Examiners, determined the cause of death as blunt force trauma to the left side of the skull, resulting in fatal intracranial hemorrhaging. The manner of death was ruled homicide. Among the remains, investigators found her charred iPhone. Ajayi was arrested on June 28, 2019 by a SWAT team in Salt Lake City and booked without bail. Formal charges were filed on July 10th. Aggravated murder, aggravated kidnapping, obstruction of justice, and desecration of a human body. On October 7, 2020, he pleaded guilty to aggravated murder and desecration of a human body. The remaining charges were dropped. Prosecutors agreed not to seek the death penalty. He also admitted to the 2018 sexual assault of a woman who came forward after seeing news coverage. 19 counts of sexual exploitation of a minor stemming from child pornography found on his devices were resolved through the same agreement.
Today, the man who pleaded guilty to murdering 23-year-old Mackenzie Lueck, Ayoola Ajayi, was sentenced to life in prison without... Today, the man who pleaded guilty to murdering 23-year-old Mackenzie Lueck, Ayoola Ajayi, was sentenced to life in prison without parole.
There is no sense of perfect justice here. There's just an accountability. And the one thing that our community can rest assured with and her family can rest assured with is that Mr. Ajayi will spend the rest of his life and he will die in prison.
Though the process is over, the memories and the scars for the Lueck family will always remain. We are blessed and honored to have Mackenzie in our lives for the last 23 years.
The judge says Ajayi pled guilty to the 3 most severe criminal crimes. He will serve each of those crimes consecutively.
His defense attorney confirmed at the hearing that the decision to kill Mackenzie Lueck had been made before he left to meet her. At sentencing on October 23, 2020, Ajayi told the court he was sorry and knew it would not bring her back. Greg Lueck told Ajayi he had no compassion for him because Ajayi had shown none for his daughter. District Attorney Sim Gill said he was glad Ajayi had apologized. He said he did not believe him. Ayoola Ajayi was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.